Part 26, Chapter 70. Potter was shouting, his voice grating on the speaker. "Damn you! What have you done to my men?" "Not a thing, Captain," Myakovsky said. "They brought it on themselves. Nothing I could do for them. Can you get us out of here, Captain?" "It seems scarcely worth my time," Potter grumbled. "I ought to nuke all of you." "But then you'd lose the contents of this harvester," Stan said. "True enough. But I could always come back for it after things have cooled down." "I have a better plan," Stan said. "Something that will be of use to us all." "Hurry up and tell me what it is," Potter said. "I don't like leaving my ship down here." "It's too complicated to explain over the radio," Stan said. "But I think you will like it. Listen, I have an android here who has been damaged in recent fighting. I could send him over to you. He'd explain the whole thing." "I don't know if I should even bother." Potter was obviously thinking aloud. "I think you'll be interested in my scheme," Stan continued. "And after all, it won't take very long." "All right," Potter said. "Send him over. This better be good." "It will be very good," Stan affirmed. "How are you going to get him through the aliens? If my own men couldn't make it, how do you expect your android to get here?" "Modern technology is a wonderful thing," Stan said evasively. "He'll be right over, Captain. Signing off." Chapter 71. "Julie," Gil said. "Can you hear me?" Julie's eyelids fluttered. Pain contorted her face. She gave a long shudder and then looked around. "Oh my God, is this where I am? I was having such a nice dream. There's this lake I know of. I went there just once when I was a little girl. I remember fields of spring flowers, a little lake. There was a rowboat. I was drifting in the rowboat, and there were willows hanging down over the boat. Oh, Gil, it was so pretty." "I'm sure it was," Gil said. "Have you ever had a dream like that?" Julie asked. "No, I have not," Gil replied. "I do not dream." "Well, you can have half of mine," Julie said sleepily. "It wasn't really a little lake. I don't need it all." "Where's Stan?" "He's right over there," Gil said. "He's trying to save you." Julie grimaced. "I'm afraid he's cut it a little late. A little too fine this time. Poor Stan. He had such great ideas, but I'm glad I came anyhow. He's not long for this world, you know." "I know," Gil said. "It's too bad. He's such a brilliant man. They've done nothing but crowd him. He hasn't had a chance. except this one, and I think it wasn't much of a chance." "I suppose not," Gil said. She looked at him. "Your arm! What happened?" "Ran into a little trouble," Gil said. "You're using understatement, just like a human." "I suppose it rubs off," Gil said. "A lot of things do." "I feel..." "Yes?" "I feel like I understand a lot more about humans now," Gil said. "It's interesting, isn't it?" "I suppose it is," Julie said. "Are you all right, Gil? You've got a very strange expression on your face." "I'm fine," Gil muttered. "It's just that, well, even an android can run out of time." Suddenly, Stan's voice came from across the cabin. "Gil, what are you doing?" "Just looking after Julie, sir." "That's good, but she needs to rest now. Come over here. I have some instructions for you." "Yes, Dr. Myakovsky." He turned to Julie. "Julie." "What is it, Gil?" "Try not to forget me." Gil stood up and crossed the room. Stan Myakovsky was huddled up in the control chair. He appeared to be experiencing no pain for the moment. But he had changed. Gil noticed that the doctor seemed to have shrunk inside his own skin, to be falling in on himself. "Now, pay attention," Stan said. "Forget about Julie for a moment. I have work for you to do." "Yes, sir." "You are going over to the Lancet to parley with Captain Potter." "To what end, sir?" "Ah, yes," Stan said. "Negotiations usually have a point, don't they? Ours will be different. There's no point at all." "But what do you want me to accomplish, sir?" "Oh, that I can easily tell you," Stan said. "I want Potter to take his ship away from here. I will retain the Harvester. I will find some way to make rendezvous with Captain Hoban, and we will go back home with our ill-gotten gains. How does that sound to you?" "Wonderful, sir. But I'm afraid..." "Yes, I am too," Stan said. "The captain is not going to like it at all. That's why I have something else in mind. Come over here to the workbench, Gil. I have a modification I must make in you." Gil hesitated. "A modification, sir?" "You heard me. What's the matter with you?" "I wouldn't want to change my thinking on certain issues." Stan looked at Gil, then glanced over at Julie, who was resting with eyes closed. "I think I understand. You've undergone quite a little course in humanization, have you not?" "I don't know what to call it, but I've never experienced anything like it." "I won't change any of those qualities you call emotional, Gil. They are rare and special. I agree with you on that, and sometimes they are a long time coming to men. and to androids, never. Or just about never. No, it's your command structure I need to modify, and something I need to wire into you. It will make it easier for you to do what you will have to do, unless things go a lot better than I imagine they will. I wish you would explain a little more, Gil said, letting Stan take him by his remaining hand and lead him over to the workbench. Stan checked out his instruments. Better not to explain too much, he said, fitting magnifying lenses over his glasses. I'll know what to do when the time comes. And so will you. Chapter 72. There were heavy ground mists when Gil left the harvester and started his trek to the Lancet. The ship loomed eerily in the mounting mists. Gil walked between the force fields. There were aliens out there, and he walked past them. The aliens were searching, but they didn't seem to know what they were looking for. Gil knew that he had a certain amount of natural immunity, since androids do not smell like men. But, to be on the safe side, he had taken the last suppressor. Gil touched it on his wrist for luck. He wasn't superstitious, but he knew that men were, and of late he had been seeking to emulate them in every way. The suppressor was working. It had been Mac's, but that was quite a while ago, and now Mac was a bundle of wet fur on a garbage heap in an alien hive. Gil knew he had to keep his mind on business. Usually, this was no problem for an android. Artificial men weren't bothered by random thoughts, stray insights, weasel realizations that came to them like thieves in the night. Not usually. But this time was different. Gil found that his attention was divided. Part of him was observing the terrain he passed over, noting the presence and position of the aliens, watching as he drew nearer to the Lancet. But with another part of his mind, he was thinking of Julie, seeing her as she had been just a few days ago, vibrant and laughing, filled with life. He had felt something special for her then. What was it? Was it what the humans called love? How could he find out? No human had been able to explain love to him. Even Stan grew embarrassed and turned away when Gil had asked him to explain the concept and to give it a quantifiable value. Humans were so strange, so filled with odd compunctions that covertly ruled their behavior. And now he had the most understanding of them he would ever have. It all came from stray thoughts, he told himself, and he worked hard to banish Julie's image from his mind as he approached the entry port of the Lancet.